Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the greatest stories ever told, and if you haven't seen it, you should absolutely give it a watch. It's a rich, touching story full of action and adventure between two brothers on a quest to atone for the mistakes of their past, and to help everyone that they find along the way. With plot twists, corruption, deceit, and amazing fight scenes, you should definitely give it a chance. It even has one of the best English dubs of all time, so if you prefer that, it gets even better for you. With that said, from here on out is all spoilers, and if you don't want it spoiled, go watch it first and then feel free to come back. Now, there's a number of things that make FMAB so great, but I think there's really only one place to start. The characters. This show has some of the realest feeling characters I've ever seen. They all have personalities, depth, emotions, motivations, pasts, and they're all portrayed wonderfully well within the story. Each character has a ton of layers to them, and as each layer gets peeled away, we get a fuller picture of who the character really truly is. I think a great example of this is Colonel Mustang. In many other shows, a character like Mustang would be static, flat. In this, though, Mustang has ambitions, regrets, emotions. One thing that's so great about this show, though, is it doesn't often beat you over the head with this stuff. It's subtle, sort of subliminal in a way. A great example of this is the "It's a terrible day for rain" scene.
Colonel.
Alchemists as a whole, we really are horrible creatures, aren't we? There's a side of me that's desperately trying to crack the theories of human transmutation right now. I think I understand what drove those boys when they tried to bring back their mother.
Are you all right, Colonel?
Yeah, I'm fine. Except, it's a terrible day for rain.
What do you mean? It's not raining.
Yes, it is.
Oh, so it is. Why don't we head back? It's getting chilly out here.
This scene shows us so many wonderful things all at once, while not being heavy-handed with it. It shows us the love and camaraderie Mustang had with Hughes, and it shows that he tried his best to be stoic and strong, but also that he's close enough to Hawkeye to show some form of vulnerability around her. All of this development for the character happens in a scene that really isn't that long. The beauty of all of this is that it doesn't feel forced. It feels natural. Real even. The audience is left to draw their own conclusion about the characters instead of just outright being told who the characters are. This in turn makes them feel significantly more real and allows the audience to relate a lot more with the characters. Another great part about the characters of FMAB is that they grow, both mentally and physically in this case. To start, as you watch the show, some characters will look older throughout. The easiest example to see this with is Ed. He starts the show looking significantly younger than he does by the time we reach the show's conclusion. This adds to how real the show feels, as it shows us how much time has passed as well. Because we're able to see things change within universe as well, it gives more gravity to the situation, because we know that even within universe, time is passing. Most of the growth the characters experience throughout the story, though, is mental. But while they all experience mental growth throughout the story, they all stay true to their motivations and purpose. For example, Ed and Al want their bodies back and restored, but not at the cost of human lives. And since they see using the Philosopher's Stones as using human lives, they refuse to use it to bring their bodies back. Another good example is Mustang vowing to kill Hugh's killer, and stopping at nothing until he hunts them down. What's interesting, though, is that the characters learn and grow based on things that happen in the story. The quintessential example of this is Scar. Scar's story is one of pain and anguish, and it shows the dangers of killing for revenge, and the problems that untempered wrath can have. The characters themselves seem to understand this, and adjust accordingly. When Mustang finally does meet Envy and has his chance for revenge, Hawkeye draws him back so that he never kills in pure rage. While not opposed to killing Envy, she wants that to be a choice that Mustang makes while of sound mind, not while in a rage. Another thing that makes the show so great is that it encompasses so many things into its story and narrative without going into tropes. For instance, it replaces the typical boyfriend-girlfriend adventures with a bond between brothers. That's not to say, though, that it doesn't still have a wonderful love story between Ed and Winry, or even between Hawkeye and Mustang. Fullmetal Alchemist once again makes all of this seem so natural. The relationships between characters grow naturally throughout the course of the story, and nothing ever really seems forced. I think it's because the characters are so well fleshed out that we can see the relationships grow. We know each character's motivations and ambitions, what they want, and we can see naturally how these goals grow together. Ed, Al, and Winry all want to get Ed and Al's bodies back. To do this, Ed and Al try and become the best alchemists they can, and try to learn all that they can know. In turn, Winry tries to perfect her own craft to create the best automail possible for Ed. I think this scene is a great example of this.
Listen,
What is it?
I want you to take Granny and Den and leave the country for a while.
I'm not running away! You can't just send us off like that! I know you want to protect us, but you need to try to save everyone!
I'm gonna do everything I can to stop it, but there's a chance it might not work!
I don't want to hear any doubts from you! Please, Ed, you can't let them go through with this. Just tell me you're gonna stop them and save the country. I want to hear you say that you're gonna protect the country and then get your bodies back. Do whatever it takes to make that happen.
On the other side, Mustang and Hawkeye want to get to the top so they can rearrange the system to atone for their actions in Ishval. It's because the characters act so logically and in turn with their personalities and ambitions that the relationships seem to grow organically. Additionally, it's able to fit both some of the most touching moments and coolest action sequences into one narrative. One of my favorite scenes in the whole series is when Winry wants to kill Scar but can't pull the trigger, and Ed comes over to comfort her.
Winry, let go of the gun.
I couldn't shoot,
I know you couldn't, and it's okay.
but that man... You said he's the one who killed my mom and dad. I tried to kill you and Al too, Ed, but I couldn't. Why not?
Remember in Rush Valley, you delivered that baby. You saved 2 lives. And you gave me an arm and a leg to replace the ones I've lost. It's your hands. They weren't meant to kill. They're meant to give life. That's why.
While not often seen as a critical point in the show, it shows the motivations and feelings of both Ed and Winry quite well. This doesn't mean that the show is somber as a funeral though either, quite the opposite. Usually the show is pretty upbeat and fun, but it really knows how to flip the switch and become serious. I feel like its ability to do both of these things, as well as the contrast between one mood and the other, leads to a really strong impact when the show does decide to be serious. The final thing I'll mention about it in today's video is that the animation is also amazing. Unlike its predecessor in 2003, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood has some amazing animation, and combined with the incredible story and how masterfully it's told, it creates a truly wonderful experience to watch. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe, leave a comment on what you want me to review next. As always, I'll see you in the next video.